Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. We all have dreams, right? And sometimes the best way to get closer to them is by seeing what they look like in real life. This is why today we're heading out to Rosedale, one of Toronto's most exclusive and prestigious neighborhoods at the heart of the city. Think about tree-lined streets, historic mansions, and the city's wealthiest families that live here. I'm Elie and I'll be your guide in today's episode. And if you're tuning in for the first time to my channel, welcome. I really appreciate you spending the next 20 to 30 minutes exploring the best of Toronto's. See, I've been doing those neighborhood walking tours for the past 2 years and it's been going great. So thanks to followers like you who are supporting me on my journey. And the purpose of these tours is to help you explore parts of Toronto, show you lifestyle, and make it easy for you to pick a neighborhood on your next move. So if you want to follow that, make sure to subscribe to my channel and follow my journey. With that, let's dive in. Rosedale sits right in the heart of the city, but what makes it special is how tucked away it feels. Surrounded by ravines and green spaces, it feels almost secluded even though downtown Toronto is just few minutes away. On the north side, Rosedale is bounded by the Canadian Pacific Railway tracks. To the south, the neighborhood runs down to Rosedale Valley Road. On the east, you'll find Bayview Avenue, and on the west, it's anchored by Yonge Street. Even with those clear boundaries, Rosedale has this pocket-like character because of the deep ravines. To move in and out, you cross one of several bridges. Two of the most notable ones are Glen Road Bridge, which connects into the Bloor-Sherbourne area, and the Mount Pleasant Bridge, which links up into Midtown. And despite the secluded feel, Rosedale is very well connected. There's a TTC subway station right on Line 1, just a few stops away from downtown or Midtown, plus buses that connect right through. And for drivers, you're minutes away from the Don Valley Parkway, giving you fast access to the Gardiner and Highway 401. So while Rosedale feels calm and green, it's also one of the most connected neighborhoods in Toronto. So don't go anywhere, grab your snacks and hang out with me, because in today's episode, we're not just walking through Rosedale's gorgeous tree-lined streets and checking out the mix of historic Victorian homes and sleek modern buildings. I'm actually taking you inside. That's right, we're stepping into one of Rosedale's multi-million-dollar mansions so you can see up close what life really feels like in this neighborhood. Trust me, you don't want to miss this and a lot of more surprises. But before we jump in, I want to thank the 5% of you who are watching and have subscribed to the channel. I appreciate you so much. And to the remaining 95% of you who are watching and haven't yet subscribed, I'd love it if you can support me on my journey and smash the subscribe button. And when you subscribe, I promise you I'll do everything in my power to keep improving on these neighborhood walking tours so you can continue watching the best of Toronto's neighborhoods from the comforts of your seat. With that out of the way, let's get back into today's episode. By now, you should know how much I love talking about history, especially when it comes to architecture, design, and buildings that still stand today as a reminder of how our communities once grew. Well, today is no exception because we're kicking off our Rosedale walking tour right here at the North Toronto station. This station first opened back in 1916 as a major stop on the Canadian Pacific Railway line. At the time, it was a grand gateway into Toronto, complete with a soaring clock tower, arched windows, and stonework that makes it feel more like a civic monument rather than just a train station. And then it quickly became a landmark for its surrounding neighborhood. But if you walk inside today, you won't find trains or ticket booths. Instead, you'll find a liquor store. Well, the LCBO took over the building, and while that might sound strange, they did preserve a lot of its historic charm. In fact, this is probably the most beautiful LCBO in Ontario. From the moment you step in through the grand entrance and past the fountain outside, the first thing you notice is the natural light streaming through the massive arched windows. Inside, it almost feels like stepping back in time with stone walls, mosaic floors, and restored design details that give this space a real sense of history. The interior is organized into different rooms. There's a beer section, wine and champagne, whiskey and spirits, all separated out so you can wander through and explore. And one of the coolest features is the tasting bar. Here, you can actually sample drinks with pours starting as low as about $1 for some wines and going all the way up into the hundreds of dollars for rare spirits like aged cognacs and single malts. It's a unique way to experience flavors without having to commit to a full bottle. Now, here's the question for you. Was it the right decision to decommission an entire train station just to turn it into a liquor store? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love artisanal wine, single malt whiskeys, and craft beer. I admire the craftsmanship behind fermentation, aging, and distillation, but dedicating a historic public building like this solely to alcohol sales? That doesn't exactly sound like the best way to preserve Canadian heritage for the next generation. So what would you have done with a historic train station like this? Would you have revived it as a subway stop, turned it into a museum, or maybe an art gallery, or even an after-hours restaurant or club? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And since we're standing here at the north edge of Rosedale, let's start making our way down on Yonge Street towards Roxborough Avenue, which is Rosedale's second most sought after street. Rosedale's story begins in the 1820s when Sheriff William Jarvis and his wife Mary settled on a homestead here. It was actually Mary who gave Rosedale its name. She was so inspired by the wild roses that grew all over the hillside of their estate, and this is why she decided to give it the name Rosedale. Mary Jarvis also played a much bigger role than just naming the neighborhood. Her frequent walks and horseback rides carved out trails across the estate. And those trails, with their curves and turns throughout the ravines, are what shaped the meandering, winding streets that today are one of Rosedale's most iconic features. The Jarvis family eventually sold their estate in 1864, and that opened the door for the subdivision and development of South Rosedale. A few decades later, in 1909, when a new bridge was built over the Park Drive ravine, North Rosedale began its own development. And speaking of those winding streets that Mary Jarvis first carved out on horseback, why don't we go see them ourselves? Come with me and let's discover what's hidden around Rosedale. Walking around Rosedale, I stumbled upon one of the neighborhood's most recognizable landmarks, the Rosedale United Church. This church has been the cornerstone of the community since the early 20th century. It was built in 1913 in a Gothic revival style, complete with stonework, painted arches, and stained glass windows that make it feel both grand and welcoming. Originally, it served the growing Methodist congregation in the area, and later it became part of the United Church of Canada when several denominations joined together in 1925. Today, Rosedale United is more than just a place of worship. It's a community hub. It hosts services, weddings, concerts, and even community events that bring neighbors together. Many people around Toronto also know it for its musical programs and beautiful acoustics, which have made it a venue for soirees and performances. It's a reminder that Rosedale isn't only about historic mansions and winding streets. It's also about the institutions that have given this neighborhood a real sense of community for over 100 years. I want to give a big thank you to the 5% of you who are watching and have subscribed to the channel. I appreciate you so much. And to the remaining 95% of you who are watching and haven't yet subscribed, I'd love it if you can support me on my journey into achieving the goal of 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year. As we wander through Rosedale's winding streets, one thing becomes immediately clear. The architecture here is absolutely stunning. You'll see an incredible mix of styles that reflect the neighborhood's long history. Some of the oldest homes are Victorian and Edwardian mansions with their brick facades, turrets, and decorative woodwork. I even came across a handyman working on one of these century-old homes, carefully modernizing a 100-plus-year-old window. He was delicately removing the original glass from the wooden frames and replacing it with tempered glass to reduce exterior noise and improve energy efficiency, all while maintaining the historical beauty of the home. Then you've got the Georgian revival and Tudor style houses with pitched roofs, symmetry, and charming details like half timbering and leaded glass. And sprinkled among them are more modern builds, clean lines, big windows, a minimalistic approach that still managed to fit right with the older character homes. Now, as I was filming, I actually had an interesting conversation with a local resident who was so enthusiastic about the massive tree right in front of his home. He told me how much it meant to him and to the street. It was such a great reminder that Rosedale isn't just about the homes, it's also about the landscape and how nature is woven into everyday life here. Take a listen for yourself.
It's a beech tree.
B-E-E-C-H,
Yeah.
beech tree.
Beech tree. And there's an app where you put the measurement of the girth of the tree, and it will tell you approximately the age. And it says between 300 and 320 years old.
It's pretty cool, right? That love for the natural environment is part of what makes this neighborhood feel so special. The homes don't just sit there on lots, they're framed by mature trees, winding roads, and deep ravines that make the architecture feel connected to the landscape. So when you walk through Rosedale, you're not just looking at historic houses or expensive real estate. You're seeing a neighborhood where design, history, and nature all come together to create something truly unique. So I've been walking around the Rosedale neighborhood, I'd say over the past few days, and it's been fascinating. I mean, you wouldn't know that this part of Toronto actually exists because you're still in the middle of the city and you've got these ginormous lots of lands with mansions on them, and you can actually hear crickets, birds, as if you're in the middle of the jungle or a cottage house, but you're still in the city. You'll see the old trees, you can see the scaling, the birch on the trunks of the trees. Yeah, it's true that some residents hire landscapers to come take care of their lawns and prune their trees and make sure everything looks pretty, but the fact that they've recognized it as an important facet of taking care of their home tells you a lot. If you're spending your time, energy, maybe investing in someone taking care of your front yard, it means you truly value the space that you have inside your home. So you want to create that implicit feel that you're coming home, coming to your own sanctuary, where you feel grounded, secure, and at peace. And they want to start experiencing that from the sidewalk. Look at these sidewalks. And for some reason, you see plenty of these Japanese maple leaf trees. Let me show you this one. Look at this one. I really love these trees. I really like how they kind of sneak at you in the middle of this forest, and they give you this contrast of red, especially when the sun hits on these leaves. Another thing that stood out to me is actually how many Porsches you have in this neighborhood. I think you'll find more Porsches here in Rosedale than at the dealership, which is very interesting because you get the full gamut from the Targa to the Cayenne to the McCain GTS. It's actually pretty fascinating to see that live. Look at this one just behind me here on the right side. And yet another Porsche. This one is a McCain GTS. Another interesting thing you'll notice if you come here for a walk, a jog, or maybe just a picnic somewhere around is this continuous floral smell. It kind of lingers underneath your nose, telling you that, hey, you're in Rosedale, we gotta smell good here. We gotta feel good all the time. And it's just super wonderful. Seriously, as you stroll down these shaded flower-lined lanes, there's a gentle floral fragrance in the air. From roses to lilacs and gardenias, your senses are quietly ushered along the blooms. It's no accident, after all, that this neighborhood was named Rosedale for the wild roses and rose bushes that once grew abundantly in its early days. It's a gentle reminder that the very scent you breathe right now is a whisper of the past. And as we continue our walk, I hope that by now I've been able to give you an immersive sense of Rosedale. Not just the houses and the streets, but also how it feels to move through it. And let me tell you, the people who live here are not just caretakers of their homes, they invest in their own well-being. Whether you're a young couple setting roots or someone who has spent a lifetime in these streets, there's always a community you can plug into. And one of the most popular ones is the one that surfaces again and again amongst local residents and across generations. Yes, you guessed it right, tennis. You'll find, in fact, more tennis courts per resident here than almost anywhere in this city. And while I couldn't locate a definitive total count for all the courts, I can share with you what I found across the neighborhood. Topping off the list is the Rosedale Tennis Club located within the Rosedale Park. There are 8 outdoor hard courts that are accessible all throughout the spring and summer seasons. Membership here costs $100 per junior, that's anyone between the ages of 5 and 18 years old. Adults pay $200 per person, and families are expected to pay about $350. But here's the catch, they are presently not accepting any new members, and there's a wait list. Think about 4 to 5 years of waiting. So if you're someone who's considering to live in Rosedale over the next 5 to 10 years and you enjoy playing tennis, you might want to consider joining this waitlist right now. Next up is the Toronto Lawn Tennis Club, which is another iconic private club in Rosedale. Okay guys, I just spoke to Eric. He's a client manager at the Tennis Lawn Club, and we're gonna go on a tour. It's one of the oldest active tennis clubs in the world, founded in 1876. You'll be impressed by how many tennis courts they have. The club features 14 hard-through outdoor clay courts and 4 indoor plexi cushion hard courts, which makes it accessible all year long. Memberships here are fairly exclusive and they could cost anywhere upwards of $7,000 a year. But for families who value convenience and community, it's definitely worth it. There's a pool, cafeteria, and summer tennis camps for kids, making it the perfect place to stay active and social all summer long. And for those who prefer a more private, all-inclusive experience, there's York Rackets Club. Located just minutes from Rosedale, this sleek, members-only club combines tennis, squash, fitness, and fine dining under one roof. This is for those who are seeking an exclusive tennis experience, the kind that's so private, even the front desk couldn't tell me how much a yearly membership costs here, let alone the initiation fee just to get your foot through the door. So, if you happen to play here or you want to take a wild guess, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Here we go. We're back at the Ramsden Park. Look how green and lush this park is in the middle of the city again. It's kind of the bond between Yorkville and Rosedale, and that's what makes this entire area so special, that you have a mix of ultra high net worth clients living in their mansions in Rosedale, and then you get to live in one of the most eclectic neighborhoods of the city, which is Yorkville. And finally, if you're someone like me who enjoys playing tennis with friends after work for free, Ramsden Park is your go-to playground. It's actually one of my favorite parks in the area. Not just because it has 4 public tennis courts, basketball courts, and a dog park, but because it's where I've met a few of my clients over a friendly rally and helped them find their first home in Toronto. So, if you're someone who values connection and wants to talk about your plans to settle down in Toronto, reach out. Maybe we'll play a few sets or just grab a coffee nearby. Let's continue our walking tour on Chestnut Park Road at 1 Chestnut Park. This address is quite special. It sits on what many consider the most influential street in all of Rosedale. Chestnut Park Road has long been home to some of Toronto's most prominent families, and it's often where the city's most iconic heritage properties are found. What makes this particular spot so unique is that it's not a single-family mansion anymore. It's actually a historic estate that was carefully converted into a small collection of luxury condominium residences. It's a perfect example of how Rosedale manages to preserve its old-world charm while quietly adapting to modern living. But what I admire most about this street isn't just the architecture, it's the presentation. Every front yard here is beautifully landscaped, trimmed, and cared for like a private garden. The attention to detail is remarkable. And let me tell you, if you look up here, you'll notice something rare for Canadian neighborhoods: no electrical wires. The power lines here are hidden underground, so there's nothing interrupting the trees, the facades, or the skyline. That to me is the purest expression of Canadian luxury, understated, thoughtful, and quietly elegant. Who's building his castle here? God knows, but definitely these scaffolding are no joke. Walking in the ravines of Rosedale. If you've been following my journey, you already know that besides helping my clients find homes and first-time home buyers settle into the right Toronto neighborhoods, I'm a big foodie to the point where I would travel around the world just so I can experience the true, authentic flavors of local cuisine. And for most of the time that I'm in Toronto, I'm always down to try new restaurants and check out some local gems. So if you've been to a new restaurant, cafe, or bakery lately that you really liked, let me know in the comments below so I can go try it out myself. And because we're in Rosedale today, I had to ask the locals, where do people shop here for their groceries? So come with me and I'll show you where Toronto's high society gets their fresh produce, gourmet treats, and little indulgences after tennis or during the holidays. Welcome to Summerhill Market, the go-to grocery store for Rosedale residents. If there's one place that truly captures Rosedale's refined yet relaxed lifestyle, it's this one. Summerhill Market isn't just a grocery store, it's a local tradition. It's a family-run business since the 1950s. It's where you'll find organic produce, house-made soups, truffle pasta, fresh pastries, beautiful flowers, you name it. It's all under one roof. And for many longtime Rosedale families, shopping here is a weekly ritual. It's where neighbors bump into each other after tennis or pick up their favorites for Sunday dinner. It's elegant but unpretentious. It's where luxury feels personal and familiar. So, if you want to experience everyday Toronto luxury, this is where to start. And let me tell you, make sure you grab that key lime pie before you leave. And for the families out there, Rosedale is a wonderful place to start establishing roots and build up your family. I know, education is one of the most important topics for parents looking to establish roots, and Rosedale certainly delivers on that front. But for the sake of time, I'll only be showing you a summary of what's available in and around the neighborhood. Whether you're a parent looking for Montessori programs, private schools, or top-rated public schools, you'll find it here. Here's a breakdown categorized by school level so you can get a sense of what's nearby. And of course, if you're exploring schools and neighborhoods for your family, feel free to reach out. We can talk through your situation and discuss whatever's on your mind. So far, we've seen detached homes, semi-detached, condos, but what about townhouses? Are there any in Rosedale? Well, let me tell you, of course there are. Check out those townhouses behind me. They're inspired by French architecture, and you can see the Juliet balconies and the French balconies that are decorating this project. There's just something about older built homes that give them a real sense of weight and value. Back then, architects and engineers took pride in their work, less driven by profits and more focused on creating spaces people could truly call home. It's hard not to feel that difference when you walk throughout Rosedale. I'm curious, do you see any parallels between older builds and the newer homes we're seeing up in 2025? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And speaking of which, it's time to give you a tour of a mansion built in the early 1900s that's completely modernized to fit today's lifestyle. Enjoy! Now let's go see the second floor. This is where they have the guest bedrooms and few en-suites rooms. Now let's go check out the master bedroom with an ensuite bathroom for his and hers that spans around 700 square feet. And there you have it. You just experienced what it feels like to live in Rosedale. And whether you're a millionaire or not, Rosedale is a place for everyone to enjoy. I highly suggest you come here with a friend, grab a coffee, a snack, visit the Summerhill grocery store, and experience what it feels like to be a millionaire in Toronto. And with that, I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something new today. My name is Elie Yachoui, a real estate agent here in Toronto. If you have any questions about your specific situation or you want to learn more about Toronto's real estate market, make sure to get in contact with me so we can talk about your plans and we'll discuss everything on top of your mind. Thanks a lot for watching and see you on the next episode.